Welcome to Taiwan Talk. I'm your host, Alex Lewis. This week we're going to talk about deepblu, a company that is looking to make scuba diving safer, more fun, and accessible. Technology has changed the way we live our lives. Cutting-edge technology used by industry heavyweights, militaries, and governments sometimes trickled down to us everyday citizens in the form of apps and gadgets we use for convenience, security, health and safety, but also for entertainment or lifestyle purposes. Things like drones, virtual reality headsets, and workout trackers like the Fitbit. And this is the technological space where deepblu resides. deepblu is a platform where scuba divers can log their dives and share them with friends. It's a social network platform built to work in tandem with Cosmic, their wearable dive computer that tracks your dives and provides information while you dive and stats after the dive is done. I had the pleasure of talking to deepblu CEO James Tsuei about the company. Let's jump into the conversation as James is introducing the company to me.
We first started the company with my co-founders who were prototyping our hardware product, which is a scuba diving dive computer, what we call Cosmic. And when I joined the team, it made a lot of sense that instead of just making it a hardware play, strictly kind of a wearable tech company, that we actually look into how to make it into an internet-based company for the scuba diving community. And that's how the inception of deepblu basically. So from the very beginning, we decided that we want to build a internet-based company surrounding scuba diving with a hardware component within it.
Okay. And how did you see the need for maybe not just the hardware, but also for this platform for scuba divers? Like, what drew you to make this concept?
Sure. Well, a couple things. First of all, in terms of scuba diving, we're talking about deepblu being an internet company for the sector. One thing you notice, I think all scuba divers, new and old, will notice that with the proliferation of the internet technology, scuba diving is kind of slow growing in that regards in terms of keeping up with tech, especially being connected.
Is that hardware or the internet space?
Everything, internet space, anything related to the web or the net. So the other thing was, are there any other platforms out there? There are a couple, but they're all fairly limited in terms of what they provide. So what we really wanted to do, especially with our Cosmic Dive computer, is to provide a way for divers to more easily capture and share their diving experiences. So think of it, so a lot of people use Strava. I don't know if you're aware.
I was about to say, yeah, Strava's for runners, and like when you run a route, it maps the route for you, but also puts you on kind of like a leaderboard or community with other runners that ran that route or around your area, stuff like that, right?
Absolutely, there you go. So with Strava, it's for runners, for cyclists. You have an Under Armour record that does a lot for other types of activities like working out, fitness, and things like that. But for scuba diving, there is no platform around prior to deepblu. So with our wearable, with our Cosmic technology, where you're able to sync all your diving data directly with our app, and with the design of our app, basically transforming all that data into a digital dive log where you can also incorporate all your underwater media, photos and videos, and also information about your dive experience. We thought this is the best way for basically Strava for scuba divers.
So, Strava for scuba divers. Strava is cool because it not only fosters community, but competition. Let's say you go for a run up Yangmingshan. It takes you an hour and 15 minutes to run up the mountain, and afterward you post your route and time onto Strava. Strava puts you on a leaderboard, and other people who run the same trail as you can post their times on the leaderboard. This way, runners not only look to improve their own times, but also look to beat the times of the competition or friends. Community with some competition. Anyway, although deepblu sees itself as Strava for scuba diving, the different nature of the two activities means the two platforms are inherently different. So that means there's no leaderboard to foster competition on deepblu, to James's chagrin.
I wish there was, because that actually brings a lot more kind of gamification aspect, even more engagement with the users. But the nature of scuba diving itself is more of a relaxing enjoyment. It's not really a competitive sport. So there really isn't a competition aspect, if you will.
So what kind of posts do you see your users making? Like, have you heard of users becoming friends in real life using the platform? Or like, what are your most popular posts?
So we have two different types of posts, post types. One is our digital dive logs. That's either created through the Cosmic Dive Computer, or you can use the app. Basically, it's 100% free. Same functionality in terms of creating these dive logs. So basically, it's capturing and recording your experience where you share with the community globally. The other is just very similar to Facebook type posts. It's videos, photos, or dive location. So you can post a video and then you actually pinpoint that dive spot because we have a database of over about 240,000 dive spots throughout the world. So to answer your question, what are the most common types of posts that people do? Other than the logs, in terms of the media posts, very often it's just sharing their experiences of specific things that they've seen or discoveries that they've seen. Some of the more interesting are where people get together and do beach cleaning or do underwater environmental efforts to just clean up the waters and these other sites. In terms of whether or not ever seeing people meeting on the platform and meeting in real life, there has been quite a few. The reason is because in addition to the regular posts, that's what we call our live feed, we also have a group post. So it's kind of like discussion board. Within discussion board, there are groups where it's actually people that invites other people that they don't know. They say, I'm going to be in this particular area for a dive next month. Is there anybody there that's going to be there so we can kind of meet up? And that's actually happens quite often. So people find their dive buddies, kind of like dive buddy search for solo divers, basically. Right?
That's really cool, and you get to, I guess, maybe meet somebody who's knowledgeable about that dive site that could show you around too.
Absolutely, the local specialists.
As you could imagine, the data you gather when you're running and when you're scuba diving is also radically different. So let's get into the data Cosmic captures for deepblu and how it builds a more media-rich experience for divers.
First, talk about the what kind of data are captured by the dive computer. It's like you mentioned, it's depth. It's the length of the dive. There's going to be water temperature, the lowest temperature during the dive, the temperature of your lowest depth. Basically, these are the main data points, but in terms of the function of the dive computer, it's actually for safety. It's to prevent divers to get into to have bends or decompression sickness. Mm-hmm. So the way that we design our digital dive logs and the way that we integrate all the media, because a lot of things that people do after they become a scuba diver, the kind of first thing they start picking up is underwater photography. Because when you're underwater, there's nothing else there is to do but to actually capture that experience. Yeah. So they end up with a lot of media of their dives, but there is no really good way to really share them in a sense where you're actually giving it a time and additional information of how that video was captured. So
like depth, location, and all that stuff.
The dive site where it's taken,
right.
Time of the within your whole dive where it was captured. With our app, all that is automatically configured, mapping the exact time when the photos are taken and your dive profile on exactly what point of your journey that was taken. So another thing is actually collecting enough of that. With some more popular sites, you're able to see the different types of aquatic life that's there in the different sites. So there are different seasons, different depths, and different locations where you're able to see. So another example, like for the sunfish is like
those big monstrous ones,
huge fish,
really bony.
Exactly.
Useless.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But they're quite a sight to see.
Right.
And they're harmless, so very no risk. So a lot of people want to be able to get to see them, and they're only on some different waters during different times of the year. For example, the Philippines during the fall season. So this way, through deepblu and the media that our divers share, you're actually able to discover different potential sites that you never even heard about before.
So what are the next steps for deepblu? How are they going to expand? That's where Planet deepblu comes in, a scuba diving marketplace. And after that, James talks about deepblu's plans to monetize their platforms.
Interesting that you mentioned that. Actually, that kind of plays into Planet deepblu. So what Planet deepblu is our latest product or service that we launched a few months ago. Basically, it's a online marketplace, a double-sided marketplace that brings divers together with dive operators. By dive operators, what we mean are these dive centers and dive businesses that are located in different vacation spots. So they offer dive guides, they offer certification training while you're on your vacation, in boat dives, for example. So they have boat captains that take you to these different spots that are only accessible through a boat. So with that, what we're doing is actually putting together a marketplace where people can actually find the different dive businesses or services in different locations in one place. So before Planet deepblu, there really isn't something like that available. And the way that it works, again, we're providing a marketplace platform. So it's very similar to Amazon or eBay, where divers can directly communicate with the businesses. So they don't go through a middleman. We're not an OTA. We're not an online travel agent. So there's a lot of specific questions or customized requirements that if you want to get answered are actually taken care of directly by the guys who's going to take you to on your dive. That's part of the aspect. The other aspect is what we talked about earlier with Planet deepblu, the community side, and all the data that we accumulated over the last 2 years. We've accumulated over about 250,000 dive logs. And with that, what we did was put all that information together with the dive spots that we have into a global dive map. So it's kind of like a TripAdvisor for scuba diving and for destinations, where if you're ever curious about different locations and how they are, you go on there. Actually, a lot of the deepblu divers has already been there. They'll share all the media that they've done. Their dive logs are there. We have dive spot reviews contributed by these users, so a lot of UGC for people to reference. And once you do decide that this is a place you identify this potential your bucket list destination, you can look into all the dive businesses, and that's basically the Planet deepblu marketplace. Okay.
And now for a more intimate look at deepblu, the health of the company. It has to be said, James was very open and thoughtful throughout the interview, and it really shows during this stretch of our conversation.
With our current stage right now is trying to growth stage. While we're just starting Planet deepblu and trying to build the business. So right now we're not actually putting in a mechanism to monetize just yet. For us, it's about growing and scaling, make sure we get solving chicken and egg problem, getting all the sellers on there, so then we get buyers. And once it starts to run and bring a lot of value to the sellers, and we scale to a decent size, then we will actually have a commission base on transactions, but reasonable commission compared to what these dive businesses are used to paying. For example, is about from 15 to 20% to wholesalers. So the whole thing about internet is being able to scale and then bringing down the cost. First, so it's a win-win for everybody.
Very cool. How many users do you have on deepblu, and what is the breakdown in terms of location worldwide? Like, is there a lot more in the United States or Taiwan?
Got it. We're working on our way to 50,000 users. We're at right now about 45,000. And in terms of the breakdown, in terms of country or territory, the largest is the U.S. About 30% of our users, registered users, are from the U.S. The next is Taiwan and China, are each about 15%. And then The fourth largest group is actually Korea users on our platform, and then Hong Kong, and then Germany. So these are the top 7, I guess. Top 6, top 7. Yeah.
Okay.
But we are gaining a lot more users from Southeast Asia as well the last few months.
Okay. And what's the, I guess, reason for that breakdown? Is the United States, is that like the most divers live there? Or okay, it is.
The U.S. basically in terms of market share is about half of the global divers in terms of because
wow, I did not expect that.
Right. Yeah. So that's one of the main reasons, and that's also kind of the reason that why, in terms of Planet Deep Blue, one of the first regions that we worked on are top destinations for U.S. divers. So basically Caribbean, Mexico, Central America, locations like that. That's where we first started with our efforts on bringing on these dive businesses onto the marketplace.
Okay. And why'd you base your offices in Taiwan for like a global platform, man? Especially if you wanted to target the United States market? Is it because, I guess, the business environment here is good, or is it because like you started with Cosmic, which is a hardware play, and Taiwan's really, I guess, strong in hardware?
Yeah, good question. Actually, again, when we first started, like I mentioned, it was with the Cosmic was the very first product, and was already being worked on with my co-founders here in Taiwan. And Taiwan does have, for prototyping, it's really good environment with all the hardware companies being established here. Right now, our manufacturing is in China, though. But also the reason why we decided to expand and further just build out of Taiwan is the overall startup environment is not too bad in terms of support, but also talent acquisition wise for software programming, software engineering. Definitely Taiwan's very strong in that in terms of having a lot of good talent pool in here.
A big thank you to James Tsuei for coming on Taiwan Talk, and thank you for listening. Check out the other ICRT podcasts on the ICRT website, mobile app, or iTunes. I'm Alex Lewis. I'll see you in a week.